says it's muted, but everything says it's unmuted.
Red light just went off there when you touched it.
Yeah, it was like a mute microphone thing that I could click.
Okay.
Hopefully that.
Can you hear us?
Either we should bring it or I mean it better.
Could've made it worse.
I've never seen that side glowing red before when I've been sitting here, so.
I guess we should.
Sorry for the
speak so they
interruption.
can- Hello?
Yes,
Hello?
we're back. I know you were.
Yeah, thanks.
Red light.
Did someone touch that? All right, let's start from the top. Yeah, thank you for fixing that, we appreciate it. City Attorney Luki,
Nothing at this time, Mayor.
thank you. Reports from elected officials, Counselor Grant.
Nothing too much to report. I was gonna, just let Public Works Director Sensinger know that we took care of the can bin at the recycle center. That was, the chamber has 2 can bin collections, one over by, the East Missouri Sanitation Building and one at the recycle center. Over the winter, they tend to get full and they both were overflowing, and when it gets windy, the cans blow around, so we've taken care of it. There's room now to bring your aluminum cans, which we just use to give donations to different groups through the county and the city, sorry. So, yeah, that has been taken care of. The recycle center is cleaned up, yeah.
All right, thank you to them and you for that. Counselor Gerbla?
Okay, covered the Bose School already. Was there any other questions anybody had on that?
The zoning for that parcel?
I don't know what the zoning currently is right now, and that can be changed by the council at a later point. Next thing I had was at the planning commission meeting the other night. They were talking about the tree fort ordinance and mobile home ordinance. Planning commission is upset that the ordinances that are set up right now for the mobile homes are not currently being followed. That when they moved those trailers into the park that were moved up here from Mermantown back in the 90s, whatever it was, they should have never been allowed in town. And yet they were, and some of them have sat the way they were brought into town. They would like some teeth in the ordinance to make sure the city ordinance is followed. They are still kind of adamant about the 15-year plan. To, if they get that age pulled up, they are willing to work with somebody if, they said they might be willing to get a extension program set up that if the mobile homes are in decent enough shape and livable, they will be willing to grant an extension. It was talked about a 1-year or 5-year plan, but they'd kind of be willing to do that. But I walked away from the meeting really, they seem to impress that they're upset because the ordinances are not currently being followed, that those trailers that are out there should be gone, the junk things. The other thing they talked about was the lots that were sold back about 3-4 years ago off of Leeds, bordering Leeds, and the front lots are bordering Leeds and the back lots are bordering Melbourne. Matt, our zoning officer, said there's a guy out there and he's from Coon Rapids. He bought the one on Leeds and the back lot. And he's got a pile of lumber stacked up on Leeds right now. And it looks like an outhouse. I drove by the lot, it looks like an outhouse on the lot and another small shed. And Matt said he's talking about building a tiny home or a hunting shack. And I don't know if it's a case of an individual coming up from the cities thinking that, okay, he's in the country, he's gonna be able to set up a shooting range and start target practicing next to his hunting shack or what. Matt said that the tiny homes are not allowed in town. But they're concerned, along with others, of the purchase of the back lots that they bought that are off of Melbourne. And Tammy was kind enough to give me a printout of the certificate of survey map that the half of those lots they sold. Because City Attorney Lewicki's name was on it, I took it upon myself to call Joel, very helpful on the phone, gave me some information of what had transpired. If I remember correctly, the individual that was with Benchmark left the company and was involved with the planning out the layout of the stuff for the certificate of survey. And then he was with Widseth. Joel told me, I was actually in the process of looking up the phone number for Widseth, and Joel called me back. He said he called them, talked to the guy, and they were out here because I at first called the county and found out that there was nothing being done on it on the county, and nothing was recorded or anything. And Witseth told the attorney that they had been out here, was it last week, he said?
Yeah, I'm not sure you spoke with the county, they had signed an ROS number.
Yeah, they had nothing done yet.
Nothing's been recorded yet, but that doesn't mean anything hadn't been done.
Yeah, that's what I mean,
Yeah.
internally with the county as far as recording with the auditors. And then they told him that they had to come back out here, check the corners on it. And so hopefully that's in process. They'll be able to get the registered land survey turned in and approved. It's gotta go to the county surveyor for approval, and then the auditors will put it in place. So then these people can get the deeds for the back lots they bought. And it kind of bothered me in a way that it was basically helping somebody that's looking to do something that he really can't do in town. But at least they'll get those lots transferred, and the owners will be able to claim them and have what they have and see what happens for development in that area in the future. Then, East Range Water Board, been attending meetings with Jake, him and I are on we're the ex-official members until White Lakes officially joins. The engineering, as Jake said, needs to start by June. And that's so that the funding can be applied for during the next year. If the funding doesn't happen overnight, it's a process, and the Aurora City Administrator has volunteered to come here and explain so everybody can get a better understanding of what I can give on the financing, along with the guys from Bolton and Mink. They said the fourth lift on the caissons is completed, where they're dropping that raw water tank in there. They're running into boulders, which they have to break up, which is causing some problems. The pipeline to Hoyt Lakes, they changed that in the design process from an 8-inch to a 12-inch. And they've redirected that, instead of running down to Holiday and straight east, it's going to go up and back to the Auto Valley where the food shelf is, and past the Lutheran Church, and then cut past the trailer park and fairly shorten the distance. But that's not gonna be a cost for White Lakes apparently. We're just gonna have to pay from where it hits 110 and comes over here. That's all I got.
That's all you got?
Sorry.
Yes, you're a busy bee, thank you for all that stuff. Counselor Heckman.
I just have something about the trailer park. So my husband is the assistant chief on the fire department, and he was contacted by the owner of the trailer park. And he said they are removing 19 of the trailers and bringing new ones in. So he asked the fire department if there was a way they could use some of the trailers as training, or if they could burn them, so they were looking into that. So that's just some information I got from the trailer park, but that's about it.
All right, thank you, Counselor Matson.
Not really to go off, I'm still just kind of getting my feet wet in this position, so. I wanna thank Tammy and the staff for kind of picking up a lot of slack that's been, going on. You've thrown a lot on top of you, recently with the changes that are coming, so. But it doesn't feel like anything has skipped a beat, so you guys are doing an awesome job, so that's it for me.
Yes. All right. Thank you, Counselor Matheson. And then I do just want to acknowledge staff's hard work, especially to Tammy, Betsy and Joel. I spent a lot of time talking with them over the past couple of weeks. Just to figure out next steps and making sure everything's getting done. So I'm very impressed with their hard work and all the information that they've been able to share. So thank you to them. Yeah, if you have time running to them, thank them too. On the garden club side of things, their first meeting is coming up second Tuesday in April. So if at all interested in that, please come down to the VFW. I don't know the exact time.
It was 6.
Was it 6? So yeah, they'll be having their first meeting at the VFW in a couple of weeks, and they're looking for some new folks to join them. And then on the city administrator side of things, our new interim is gonna be starting tomorrow. So we'll be kind of getting him familiar with everything. And then, yeah, within the coming weeks, feel free to come down, introduce yourselves. So that's kind of next steps there, but other than that, that's all I've got. So
Do we have a name on the Mr. Interim?
Yeah, his name is Dean Weiber. He's from the area, has lots of, experience with HR type things, leadership type roles in a variety of different, industries like mine and things like that. So I think they're all pretty impressed with his resume. So we're excited to, have him join the city, so. Moving on, old business, 10.1, ordinance 247, newly revised floodplain. So as kind of discussed earlier, we just need to adopt a floodplain ordinance so that folks in town have flood plain insurance. Or flood insurance, Tammy and I have done a lot of talking with the DNR with this ordinance. They read through it. And kind of gave you okay with everything looking good. So on the DNR side of things, they said, that looks good, so we don't need to really make any revisions to beyond the suggestions we made last council meeting. So if you're just looking at passing this tonight and then furthermore, just kind of the next step type things with this in this paper, right? Those other things. So I will take a motion to adopt this ordinance and then, direct staff to follow through with, the other steps that go along with that, like posting in the paper, reaching out to the DNR, just confirming that we have it, in the book so that they can tell FEMA that, we're in compliance with that and that, folks can have their flood insurance. So is there anybody that would like to make a motion on that?
I'll make that motion.
Motion from Counselor Grams, anybody that would like to second support that?
I'll second.
We have a second, Counselor Matheson, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Moving on to new business, 11.1, discussion of need for city representation at meetings, interim, city administrator Lanny was attending. Can you speak a little bit to this?
I do a calendar every month. Kind of who's going to what meetings and when, so we know if someone's gone on vacation, if they're at a meeting, we'll reach out to contact on that. And Becky had me add 3 meetings to the March calendar, that she wasn't gonna be able to attend. And then Dave saw it on the, calendar itself and brought up that he was wanting to discuss if there are other meetings that she's attending or would be attending that now are not being attended by everybody. We're kind of seeing the meetings as they come through her email right now, because Betsy and I are both getting that. But at this point with Dean starting, I don't know if we want to just slowly transition into the meetings before we can sit on that.
Yeah, I would suppose if like if you couldn't make it and if we needed somebody there, either someone staff, city hall wise, or like Kenny or
Yeah,
Jay office.
yeah, we'll be kind of learning for a while
Yeah,
as we get to know all the meetings and like I say, you guys are all on your commissions and all that, but we'll kind of be catching them as they come through.
I know the first 2 listed, the IRA Economic Alliance and the Mine Vision Partnership, are through the East Range Joint Powers Board, the North Span, corporation that we use. They go to each of those meetings, they have a representative at those, and we have a joint powers meeting tomorrow, and they do provide an update of what happened at the last meeting and when the next one will be. So I can make sure to forward that, North Span report, which I know Brandon and Dave got a copy of it. I emailed that to you guys on Sunday, actually. So that's in there too, that those reports from those 2 committees are in that North Span report that you got. So we'll see if there's any updates at the meeting tomorrow.
all right. Any further discussion with that? I think we've got that all covered, just to kind of any folks joining on board and then we can fill in the gaps. All right, thanks for bringing that up. Moving on to 11.2, Mayor's proclamation regarding Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Sexual assault program reached out to us, just asking us to discuss and then provide that proclamation of this being Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Through my work as a social worker, I've worked with the Sexual Assault Program many times. They do a lot of great work with victims of sexual assault up here, just with the limited resources we have with just about everything related to mental health, sexual assault, they do a lot of great work, so just wanted to acknowledge them. So is there anybody that would like to make a motion to approve, the mayor's proclamation regarding sexual assault awareness month?
I'll make a motion.
Motion from Councilor Ekman, seconded by Councilor Darrell. All those in favor? Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Moving on to 11.3, resolution 2025-008, accepting donation from the Hood Lakes Chamber of Commerce for the garden club. Looks like maybe the chamber, so do you want to say anything to that, Sherry?
We had a representative and I forgot his name already. Doug, thank you. I'm like, I know, should know it. He came to our last chamber meeting, to let us know that he's been working hard and the rest of the group, they're looking for new members and the chamber normally donates money to the garden club every year. So we donated $2,000 so they can get a start on planting and beautifying our city.
All right, thank you to the chamber for that. Is there anybody that would like to, approve that resolution accepting the donation from the Chamber of Commerce to provide the garden club for their services?
So
Moved from Councilor, motion by Councilor Jarlett. Is there anybody that would like a second to support that?
I'll second.
We have a second from Councilor Matheson. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. 11.4, update the 2025 committee assignment by adding Fisherman's Point Campground, and appointing a main and alternate counselor for that, and then adding the East Range Water Board. So through past motion, when we talked about East Range Water Board, like Councilor Jarlett had said, he and Public Utilities Director Barron, and they part of that. And then I'm the alternate. And then in regards to the Fisherman's Point Campground, we're just looking to see, if there's anybody that would be willing to be, a whole point of contact for the folks down there, correct?
Yeah.
If they have questions or need help. I didn't want to assign anyone to that, going into this meeting, not knowing how busy folks are feeling. So is there anybody that would like feel that they have enough time to be that, that point of contact for, folks down at Fisherman's Point, would be the managers, so the halls. I wouldn't expect it to be super big time consumer, not like a monthly meeting or weekly meeting or anything, just someone that they can, reach out to if they, is basically it. Sounds like they did this in the past, with having a counselor assigned to
Yeah,
that.
the main stuff is sort of like public works for it, and we do stuff out there, buildings or anything.
I'd be willing to do it. No, be interesting.
So, point Councilor Matheson, is there anybody that would like to be an alternate, just in case if, Councilor Matheson isn't available? He's on vacation. And Councilor Ekman as the alternate. And again, we added the, range water board to the committee assignments. So that was all the agenda. So is there anybody that would like to make a motion to approve kind of exchange that we had just discussed? So we have a motion from Councilor Travelot. Is there anybody that would like a second to support that?
I'll second.
We have a second from Councilor Grant. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Moving on to 11.5, summer seasonal employee hiring. Would you mind just speaking a little bit to that, Karen?
Sure, I realized that it was time to start thinking about summer hiring already. And to be able to try to line it up with your next council meeting for hopefully recommendations for hiring and to be able to get some of the kids on. We thought we'd try to get the arts and craft instructor. All the hiring is gonna start, if you guys include, but on the 14th of April. I'll probably post stuff maybe already on the website, probably Friday. Application is due for the arts and craft instructor by April 25th. So we can kind of get a start on that. And then for the rest of the summer hires, most of them are summer students. Recreation would need 2 ball field maintenance workers like normal. Public Works would be looking for 3 more operators and then 4 general labor, summer students. Public Utilities, 1 general labor who's a summer student. Golf course, is looking for a couple of more operators and 1 assistant greenskeeper. And that position is more like an adult position. Seasonal part-time. And then 1 assistant for the arts and crafts program, who would also be a summer student. And then I plan on advertising in the Strange Times on the city website, the city sign, the bulletin board here at City Hall, and also on Facebook. And by having a closing date on May 2nd, I should be able to get everything. On Sunday, bulletin board. There should be plenty of time before everything, so it's up to them.
You know, if someone's interested, they can just get like an application packet, either online or from City Hall.
Yep, and then just kind of City Hall. Email it back in or drop it out to them.
And this is what we do every year with the knowledge of employees and certain.
Yeah, I double checked with everybody and they all asked for the same number again.
Anybody have questions or comments regarding this piece of it? All right, hearing none, I will take a motion to approve the advertising for these positions, and I want to do it. That process is starting.
I think that motion.
We have a motion from Councilor Jarvis. Is there anybody that would like to second or support that?
I'll second.
We have a second by Councilor Ekman. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Moving on to 11.6, accepted payment options, expanded at Fisherman's Point Campground. So would you mind just giving a little brief overview of why I think?
Yeah, we're hoping to make a change on that. The past few years when we first went online, reservations only at the campground. It was where you had to pay even when you checked in with the credit card. And the managers there had kind of made comments, not comments, but they had said that, you know, there are many people who just show up and just have cash. And then they don't have a credit card with them to pay it. It was making it a little bit harder for them to check people in. We always used to accept cash and check as a payment out there, and Betsy and I have talked, and we talked with Jen Hall too, and we'd like to go back. We feel it's more of an option for people. A lot of people do have cash. I also think it might help upselling for Jen Hall too, if she's standing there, people are checking in, they have cash, she's got hot water, wood, anything. Just be able to use cash with everything. We just need it easier. And to be able to add that option again, I kind of feel like we took that away from people and we need to do that.
There's some concern if like Wi-Fi or
Yes.
electricity went down there, then you kind of are all blocked with trying to figure out how to pay and make reservations.
And then part of the security too, what's going online was also being able to make sure that all the camping was being managed correctly and it's all in the system. And by people still making the reservations online, it will still be tracked in the system, but it's just another option for when you show up to pay.
I know we've had issues, you know, we took away the cash aspect, when we had former managers that were keeping the cash and not paying for the campsites. So that was an issue, and I know when we had audits, for a couple of years after that, it was quite requested that, you know, we stay away from cash as much as we can, just so we don't run into these issues of not being able to account for the money and not being able to account for the campers. But I think that has gotten under control, and, you know, with the online registration, so that you can kind of track who's camping and when. So I think, yeah, bringing back cash, I'm not concerned about security issues. With the current managers.
She said she will still, even if people don't have. If they just stop by and come into town and they just wanna camp all of a sudden, they don't have an account set up or anything, she'll still help them set all that up, so all their reservations will still be tracked. It's just another option for payment, so we double check with that. Which is a good thing, share because of that.
Yeah.
Original problem.
And then talking with you and Betsy today, there is a bit of auditing that City Hall does with
Yes,
money coming in.
Yeah.
That type of thing. So if things are being kept when they shouldn't be kept, then city doesn't like it.
yeah, Betsy said the report she gets off of this new system, it's pretty obvious she's getting them every day that if, and she's camping out there too. So if sites are empty or or there's somebody in them, but she's not saying money for them coming through. She's like auditing them every day too, so there is that extra security.
So yeah, just having a discussion regarding that. So is there anybody that would like it to make a motion to, work at accepting those payment options, expanding those options to cash and check, correct? So is there anybody that would like to make a motion for that?
I'll make the motion.
We have, we have a motion from, Counselor Matheson, second by Counselor Ekman. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Moving on to 11.7, Saudi Schools Recreation Contract Renewal. So it looks like there's the contract increases. At a prior recreation board meeting, decided that there would be no increase for this year, 2.5% increase for next year, and then 2.5 again, for the following year. Is there anything else that the council needs to know, I guess, regarding that?
Not that I can find it, it's just really bad, but there had been, we had attendance at the meetings prior, but with the council turnover and employment turnover. I didn't have minutes from those minutes.
I have questions. It's very funny when I picked this packet up on Friday to review it. Thursday, I've been approached by some folks regarding the same issue. They live in town and they pay in do their taxes to the rec fund, but they've got kids involved in sports. And they have asked a question about financial reporting, if there's any way they can find out how the money is being spent that the city is paying. And also the fees that they are paying for their kids to be in sports through the school. They apparently have asked about how the monies are spent and where they go. And they're wondering, I guess I didn't even know this program was in effect. So it was an eye opener for me to find this out and then see it the next day in the packet that I don't know how it was messing, but you know, that's the way it is, but they're just curious and so am I. If it's possible, find out anything detailed. I mean, working for the school chair, do you know if that's something that's available? Can the city find out where this money goes, especially the fee money that the parents pay out?
You can, I happen to share an office with Mark Gert, we do two separate jobs, I don't have anything to do with the rec department, so I can't speak to what the money gets spent on besides, you know, paying for the coaches and the equipment, but you can, like Tammy could email Dr. Burgess back and ask him for, an accounting, they have separate funds for everything that goes on, so she could ask for the rec department funds and get a report. They probably do it in a fiscal year rather than a calendar year, because that's how the school operates, but.
Well, I think it'd be good, if nothing else, that it'll answer these folks' questions, because they were concerned that the money they paid in for the fees could be taken out and put into another program that maybe had more kids or more expenditures. And reading in the file and stuff, it's like, okay, when this is set up, that, you know, the uniforms and all that stuff, I don't imagine any of that old equipment is left anymore. But I've got grandchildren that are involved in it, and it blew my mind to see little kids at basketball games with jerseys with their names on. So I know that's part of the money that's being spent. That's, when I grew up, you just got handed an old t-shirt, like ripped and faded, and, you know, that was it. But so for them to get a new t-shirt with their name on it, that's a morale booster and keeps the kids coming back.
They do list on the rec portion of the website, it tells you like which sports are coming up to register for, what the fee is for that sport. And I believe it tells you what's included, you know, like you get, you know, 2 jerseys, a home and away, and a hat or whatever it isn't, I think it lists what you get for that. But we can also ask,
Yeah, that could be-
Mark Gert to give a whole listing for the whole year, not
If
just.
that could be done, that would be very much appreciated. Something that, if nothing else, points out that it is public and that their fears could be allayed by doing that, showing them that, okay, yeah, your fears for whatever sport or your fees, I mean, for baseball, basketball, whatever, you're not going into swimming or whatever, I know even hockey isn't involved in that now, but.
And I think the rec fund is one fund, so they do track it between soccer, basketball,
Okay.
volleyball, but it is one rec fund that they roll through. So I don't know if they can break it down by each sport individually, or if it's just a rec,
Goes into one
For the
fund
year,
and then just.
but it is
from-
just one, yeah, one fund, and it doesn't get intermingled with school sports, athletics, through the school as a separate fund as
It
well.
goes out to
It's
the
just rec, yeah.
three entities and the way we're going, okay.
So yeah, between Director Gert and Superintendent Dr. Burgess, they can give you all that information.
That'd be wonderful. Thank you.
All right, any other comments or questions regarding that? Hearing none, I'll take a motion to support the approval, of this contract for the 2025 to 2027 recreation contract, and then authorize, myself and to execute that. So, is there anybody that'd like to make a motion?
Although,
We have a motion from Councilor Matheson. Is there anybody that would like to second or support that?
I'll second.
We have a second from Councilor Grams. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Moving on to 11.20 liquor license application for golf course Temples, pending receipt of all documents. You might speak to that, Tammy?
Yes, I just received the, liquor license applications for Jenna Hauser out at the golf course clubhouse for the season. Once all documentation is received, I'm just waiting on the insurances on it right now before I can send it to the state. So once I get that in, I'll send it to the state. And hopefully within a few weeks, we'll have it approved. I don't believe she's starting until May. But I just wanted to get it on the docket and to the state, so they have plenty.
Right, yeah, fair warm up, and the golf course and clubhouse is gonna be opened up fairly soon, so we wanna make sure that we have a liquor license ready for when people start going. So, is there anybody that would like to make a motion to approve the 2025 liquor license application for Jenna at the golf course clubhouse, pending the receipt of all documents?
I'll make that motion.
A motion from Councilor Grams. Anybody that would like to second or support that?
I'll second.
We have a second from Councilor Ekman. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. And then
One question, John. Hey, does the city pay the dram shop insurance out there, or is she? I believe they call it, or used to call it anyway, the dram shop law insurance.
Like their liquor liability.
Yeah.
She actually takes care of
She,
it.
oh, thank you.
right, and then we'll move on to adjournment. Is there anybody that would like to make a motion to adjourn our meeting?
So,
We have a motion from Councilor Darla. Anybody that would like to second or support that?
I'll second.
We have a second from Councilor Grams. All those in favor?
aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Thank you.
Reopen the one. Okay. We gotta reopen the one. One. We got that. One. Public one twice.
Oh.
Yeah. But you-
Does anybody have anything else on what we were talking about, whole school, before I shut down?
That was one.
So, since you're, yeah.
So after the school years, well, when it comes down.
I don't know.
We're good.
Did anybody have any other questions regarding what we were talking about at the end of the public forum meeting? Is there a need to reconvene that?